All right, so next video, we are starting to add our blues here. Now for this is the third layer that you guys are going to be adding. So for this third layer, what y'all are going to do is choose at least 2 blues. Now the blue that I am choosing is peacock blue as well as indigo blue. I would definitely use the indigo blue. There are some blues related to the peacock blue that would be appropriate, but you know, these tend to work really well in shadows. So anyway, so I'm going to start with my lightest one right here. And this, it's one of those, whoo, I'm barely touching the surface, so a little goes a long way here. I'm looking for the coolness in the shadows. Usually that's going to be the darkest area of your shadows. If you need to go back here and tone down, let's just say this blue got a little bit too blue. You could either take your eraser on it if you realized you gotten too dark, or you could add the brown on top of this just to neutralize it a bit. You can kind of see how that toned that down just a little bit. Let's see here. So in general, you can kind of see I'm barely touching my surface right here. Okay, so the next color that we are going to add to this is the indigo blue. The indigo blue is the closest in your pack to black. It is in some ways much more aggressive than black. It at times, just depending on what you do, would probably need to be toned down if you go too heavy too quickly. So just be really careful with that. I do love this blue, and it looks really great in shadows. Look for opportunities like I did right here and right here in this little corner to bump up the contrast of your value. Even if it's one little spot, you wouldn't have to necessarily do it all over. These little cracks here, they're varied, and I'm trying to soften them up a little bit. They may be lighter in a space, darker in a space, lighter, get darker. So look for those things as you go. It's not going to be one flat line there. So the next thing I'm going to do is, well, we're going to look for opportunities to pull some purples as well as some peaches and some pinks. So I have this light peach. I also have the pink. I have lilac, and I have, what is this, Parma violet right there. So I'm going to start with my lightest tone, these two. So I betcha, especially if you have some warm areas in or around your shadows, you're going to more than likely see some peaches or some pinks. And I saw both in mine. So I really, honestly, this peach to me is a really nice warm neutral, and it really for me tends to add some needed brightness to what you have. You can add it around a shadow. Usually around the edge of a shadow you might have a reflection. Usually there's a reflective light quality around the edge of a shadow. So look at that. You may have some areas, you know, as you go, especially as your shadow fades out, you may have those little peach areas on the outside. So kind of look for those things. There's a little bit of pink. There's actually pink in other areas of mine. You can zoom in to my examples and look at those things. But yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of purple. So I'm gonna start off with my lightest purple and then move to the darkest area. So the purple, you kind of got like a in-between warm and cool going on with this, I think it's a lilac. So you might have purple coming out of blue spaces, or they might be coming into some of the brown spaces. So it's sort of friends with everybody, I guess. Okay. This darker purple, I'm not going to add much of that, but it's there. Now at this stage, if you needed to neutralize things, like let's just say you were thinking, oh my gosh, I went a little bit crazy with my colors, you can either add like what you added to begin with, the ginger root and the silver, or you can go into it with like a darker brown or whatever. But you know, at this stage, I think what I've got is fine. You just need to be really careful, because when you add this ginger root, especially on top of that blue, it may end up looking kind of green when you do those things. You can also, with an eraser, kind of pull out some things if you need to blend. Like let's just say things are looking a little bit too textured, or you know, whatever, you could do that. Or if you're, you know, just you lost the shape of what you're doing initially, that could be what you could do there. Okay, so the last little thing here, I am going to be adding some reflective type things. So let's see, I think I've like dropped some of my pencils, but it's okay. Okay, so the reflections, I believe, on here, I think I have, yeah, I've got my canary yellow, I have yellow ochre, I have goldenrod, I also have the vermilion, and I think I may have thrown in like a burnt ochre there in the mix. So my object, well, there's a lot of orange, and I think I added a green. You'll have to look at mine, but I'm just doing my little teapot part right here. So I have a little reflection of that orange. So I'm going to start off with yellow right there, just to kind of build up to that orange. The yellow is really nice too. You just have to be really careful because this gets really bright really quick. The yellow is really cool too if you're trying to brighten up some little areas. I'm gonna kind of fade that. Got a little crazy. So the yellow, even outside of some of this, is kind of nice too. Okay, so I'm building up here. I've got my yellow ochre. But it's just, I mean, honestly, I'm doing little bit by little bit at a time. And now I'm actually using more of an orange. This is more of a, like a neutral brown orange. This goldenrod is pretty great. And then this, the orange, I mean, you look at that, it's super duper bright, so you want to be kind of careful with what you're doing with that. I see a little bit of that creeping out of the blue. If you look, I mean, this would be orange, so it would be really, really bright. And what's probably going to have to go on is, after I actually add color to my teapot, I'm probably going to have to add more orange and stuff to my reflections, it's just hard for me to really judge at this point how extreme I need to go. So I'm being, you know, kind of conservative with what's going on here. So I'm just adding a little cream at the very end to warm things up if I need to. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I know that was kind of quick, but at least that'll give you just a little bit of direction as to what to do with your shadows. Like I said, this is what I have here. It is transparent in a lot of places, semi-transparent. I really did use my eraser quite a lot, and I also used a variety of different colors. So anyway, send me an email if you need anything, and I'll be very happy to help you guys out. Thanks so much.